Hey everybody, this is Adam for the Animals, and today's topic is, what if you don't want to be vegan? Firstly, thank you. I applaud your honesty. Secondly, take a second to consider just how lucky you are. You get to decide what you want to eat. What an insane privilege that most species of animal don't get. Most species live off a very limited, restricted diet, and they have to hunt to survive. To eat in the animal kingdom is not a pleasure, it is a means of survival. Long ago, we left this cycle, and today we live in a very different land, the land of convenience and abundance. So why don't you want to be vegan? The most common reasons I hear, and that most people hear, are the obvious ones. I prefer meat because it's convenient and I like the taste. Very few will argue that it's necessary to eat animal products to survive, so most people's reasons for not being vegan revolve around non-essential reasons that affect their immediate convenience and their immediate desires. Here's what I think. We in the first world have become so accustomed to instant gratification that many of us have unknowingly fallen in line with an ethical stance that I think many of us would actually disagree with, and that ethical stance is called hedonism. Hedonism as an ethical stance is this idea that individual pleasure and self-satisfaction is the ultimate truth and the thing that humans should be going for. This means that you are entitled to seek out and obtain as much pleasure as humanly possible simply because you are able to. Regardless of your own personal stance on this matter, I don't think any of us could argue how much hedonism is pushed in contemporary culture. We are bombarded with hedonistic product advertisements. We are taught to glorify expensive lifestyles and things in pop culture, and even modern music has become a vehicle for self-indulgence and narcissism. It's important to consider how our own cultural conditioning may come into play when contemplating veganism. Now, most people will just immediately drop the idea once they consider all the various lifestyle changes that are going to have to be adjusted to make the change. And it all just seems like so much work and not easy, not fun. You mean I can't just go out and eat whatever I want? I'm a member of the first world, damn it. I should be able to eat whatever I want whenever I want, right? I get it, and I feel you. I didn't want to go vegan either. I liked the taste of meat. I liked how convenient it was to get it. The thought of making this massive lifestyle change and dropping animal products felt like this huge inconvenience to my otherwise convenient life. But the thing is, see, I wouldn't consider myself a hedonist, but in choosing my own preferences over the life of another, I was actually conflicting my own moral compass and operating more in line with a standpoint of hedonism. So let's consider hedonism as a value system. Does it work? And by that I mean, does it actually bring true happiness? Now, happiness, we have to realize, is always a fleeting and temporary state of being. You never arrive at happiness. Instead, we always seem to be looking for that next hit of happiness. Kind of sounds like an addiction to me. What is it we so desperately need from this transient, fleeting state of being? And more importantly, why is it so quick to just simply vanish at the nearest opportunity? Here's an example. You're driving along in your car, your convertible. The sun is shining, it's a beautiful day, you're super happy, not a care in the world, when suddenly someone cuts you off and flips you the finger. Now, immediately, that sense of happiness that you felt is gone and completely replaced by being upset and being angry. So how is it that our happiness can be so quickly taken away from us at a moment's notice? I know this isn't news to any of you, but maybe, just maybe, happiness isn't found in all of the ways culture and society is telling us we should be looking for it. Perhaps it isn't found in a new couch or a new car or that delicious savory piece of steak. That fleeting hit of happiness we get from buying products and consuming food is always impermanent, and it's always leaving us wanting more. Now, is there something else we maybe could be after? Maybe not happiness, but fulfillment. I want you to think of moments in your life where you found yourself in complete service to someone else. Perhaps it was a family member who needed some assistance, or it was a friend who needed a helping hand, or it was a complete stranger who you felt compelled to assist despite having no reason to. How did you feel in those moments? To me, times where I've offered selfless assistance to others have got to be some of the best feel-good moments of my life. The wholesome sense of fulfillment you get from helping others for no reason other than altruistic intent has got to be the most pure form of happiness. When I help others, I feel a sense of contentment that indicates that I'm like in line with a higher order, that I've done something greater than myself, that I've contributed to the greater good. That feeling can't be beat. And more importantly, when you help others, you're making someone else feel great too. And two is better than one. What if we realize that that fleeting sense of satisfaction we get from eating a piece of chicken or steak or fish comes at the direct cost of that being's life? That your pleasure is the direct result of another being's suffering and pain. Now suddenly, does that hit of happiness seem worth it anymore? Isn't that the exact opposite of the kind of happiness we should be looking for? I would argue that happiness at the expense of another is not happiness at all. I really think we can afford to take our own interests and wants out of the equation. We live lives of luxury and ease. To give up animal foods is a minuscule price to pay to allow a living being to live and be free. And the sense of contentment you get for standing up for their right to liberation and freedom will far surpass any fleeting sense of pleasure that you might get from eating them. So I say to you, so what if you don't want to be vegan? Once you see the truth, moreover, once you feel the truth, is there really any other choice? Because this whole issue isn't about you or your wants. To be vegan is to acknowledge that the freedom and happiness of others is the ultimate form of happiness. And every time you choose foods from alternate sources, you stand proudly by this altruistic stance. And compared to the fleeting high of taste, this feeling doesn't go away after you're finished. Thank you for watching. This has been Adam for the Animals, signing off.